This is a typical dilemma, very common one that I've seen throughout my career. What sort of challenges will a Scrum Master face when they have to integrate with a traditional predictive project management environment? You could be the startup Scrum team, you could be the Agile part of a large organization, or as in reality, you're part of a very large organization that has multiple different methods of getting stuff done depending upon the type of problem. Like, there's some really cool places where project management is the obvious fit. If it's complicated, when there is more known than unknown, it can make sense to use a very predictive project management approach. Doing software releases, for instance, it needs to happen in a certain format, checks and balances, back and forth. So you're part of an Agile team, a Scrum team that's working with project management. It's going to great, right? Because you are operating at a more frequent cycle, monthly, hopefully less, of delivering done work that is clearly complete and finished. You are then interfacing, or even worse, relying on dependencies from another team that is operating on a more traditional rolling model that could be months, maybe years, if you're really unlucky. Which means you're hanging around waiting for somebody else's stuff. Now, that's your definition of critical is not someone else's version of important, right? If your house is on fire, that's the most important thing to you, but somebody living in another city, it doesn't even blip on their radar. This often happens. And if your portfolio management isn't aware of this and is thinking about these dependency chains and juncture points, it then hurts, because your team gets stuck with hurry up and wait, build things around the edges, or go off, and you then find out that the project managed team don't deliver to the agreed interface. I've seen that happen more than once. You get together, you agree a boundary or an interface where things are going to slot in nicely together, and they ship something that doesn't do it, or it doesn't work. Being an Agile team, you define your interface, you stub it out, and you hit that, and you're connecting and proving that it works constantly. And then somebody ships something that doesn't work, and then the blame game starts. So problem one, integration. Integration is the thing that breaks every human endeavor. You ever tried to cook in the kitchen with somebody else who's got a different cooking style to you? Integration, every time. The second big thing that will get you is planning cycles. Because you're in a regular iterative planning cycle, they will want to update that into a Gantt chart, and that lack of flexibility will become suffocating at times. You need to work with your product owner to make sure that they are working regularly with the project management office, the program management, the portfolio management, to ensure that their plan is up to date, and you have to over-communicate. The critical thing is that you're not communicating using earned value analysis. You are focusing on saying, we have finished this. We have got this done. Now, at a high level, a delivery plan or a roadmap looks like a Gantt chart anyway, so it's no biggie. But it's helping everybody understand that. And if you need to make some compromises and shade some stuff in, be pragmatic about it. You're not going to do yourself any favors by appearing to be dogmatic and focusing on a particular framework or behavior. The third thing, and the huge one, is the culture clash. Agile teams, we aim for them to be self-managing, independent, focused, and intent on delivering value, on delivering what is needed. They want to understand and cut them loose and just let it get it done. Predictive teams are often micromanaged or nano-managed down to task level. Because the Agile teams are moving faster, that can create cultural friction. My very first Scrum team, we were delivering every sprint. Every 3 weeks, we would ship. It was done. We had overnight builds, fully automated. It was tested. We tested regression packs, et cetera, et cetera. We would go to the change authorization board every 3 weeks and say, right, we've got another release. Let's go through it. It became very frustrating to another team when we were moved to the front of the cab. Why? Because we were a formality, right? Have you got another release? Yep. Usual? Yep. Is it automated? Yep. Will you be there? Yep. Have you tested it? Yep. Have you done your rollback? Yep. Okay. Yep. Authorized. These other teams that were releasing every 9 months, 10 months, they had to go through this really complicated checklist that was by nature much larger. And this is a challenging thing, right? Because the volume of work is going to be larger because you're working on a longer timescale. And so it created friction between the people because of the way that we're working. And so that human friction is often the biggest challenge when your different styles of working, different frameworks aren't there. So you have to work hard to make sure that you maintain the positive relationships with the other people in the organization so that you don't incense them with your iterative way of working. It's a social game. Humans are social animals. You want to make them feel included, and you want to make sure that they understand that you care about the success of their work as yours. So in summary, there's 3 things that you need to focus on. The first one, and the most critical one, getting done, and that's integration. Make sure that you integrate early and often and communicate any challenges. The second thing is the bureaucratic or the functional thing, making sure that your updates and that your evolving plan is communicated effectively and well understood by the portfolio and product management office. And the third thing is the social, making sure that you are not pariahs and you work hard to establish strong social connections with the rest of your teams.